Welcome to the debate that the Maury County Chamber and Economic Alliance is putting on tonight for our county mayors. My name is Mike Sharpton. I am chairman of the Governmental Affairs Committee that organizes these debates. Tonight we have our 6 county mayor candidates. On the way in, there were handouts to show you all their bios, and also a note in there on where you could go to the Tennessee statutes to see just what the job description of the county mayor is. There's a lot of people I would like to thank tonight. First of all, I would like to start with our platinum sponsors on our Circle of Excellence through the Maury Alliance, which is Columbia Power and Water Systems, First Farmers and Merchants Bank, KCS Construction Company, Puckett's Grocery and Restaurant. In our gold category, we have BMC Metalworks and Caledonian Financial. And our silver sponsor is the Law Office of Hardin Parks, Kelly, Carter, and Bryant. Thank y'all for that sponsorship to the whole alliance. Our sponsors for tonight's event are Jimmy Duggar with Crylike Realty, WES Survey and Engineering, and Du Bois and Du Bois Attorneys. Our format tonight is going to be relatively simple. We're going to be asking one question and we're going to be receiving 6 answers. And then we'll go to the next candidate and ask a question and get 6 answers from those. We hope that we have questions that will, they can answer their issues and how they want to run Maury County for the next 4 years. First of all, I'd like for you to turn off your cell phones or put them on silence mode so we're not disturbed by someone's phone going off in the middle of an answer, especially when I'm talking. I would also like for the audience to refrain from any kind of cheering or jeering or whistling or any kind of commotion until the end, and we can all give them a round of applause. If we do hear some of that, we will be asked to leave. Sorry. So I would like to also mention the committee members that help us put this together. You have myself, Wade Kincaid, who couldn't be with us tonight. We have Gerald Vick, who is our timekeeper down here. We have Ty Cobb, who did our national anthem for us, and we have Bethany Lay, that's also on our committee. And then the 2 people down at the Alliance that really put this thing together for us is Kara Huckabee and Brittany Jernigan. So, guys, I want to thank y'all. Y'all done a fantastic job tonight. Now, if you're not a member of the Alliance, I want y'all to know that there is a candidates survey questionnaire on the Alliance website. It's MauryAlliance.com. The Alliance did a survey a couple of months ago of all of our members, and we sent out to over 1,000 members, and the survey came back, and then we turned around and asked the candidates the questions that we were asking our members and soliciting responses. And this is an interactive guide. It's 134 pages, so it's not something that you're going to print off, but you can go to the table of contents and click on the candidate's name, and if they responded to the questions that we asked, then it will pop right to their responses along with the questions. If there was no response, you will see that inside the table of contents. So it's very interactive, and I'd like for you to go and look at that so you can see it has county commissioners, it has sheriffs, it has all the political offices in there, trustees. So everybody is covered in that survey. So that's something, and we have added a couple of more here just recently due to where they sent it back in an email and it was found in our spam, so we added some in the last couple of days. So I'd like for you to look at that. I think it's something that you'd be interested in knowing how, whether it's a county commissioner or a school board member or the trustee thinks about different issues. We're going to be asking each of the candidates a question, and they will have a 2-minute response. And then at the end of the questions, they will have 5 minutes to wrap up or reiterate any kind of points that they would like to bring up. So let's get started. They are sitting in an arrangement of where they picked out numbers. So it was a random draw, and this is the way the numbers came out on the seating assignment. So we're going to start with candidate number 1, Miss Kim Willis. You doing all right tonight, Kim? Okay, so here we go. Candidates, what do you see as your number 1 priority when you take office?
My number 1 priority as being mayor of Maury County is to continuously improve everything that is important to you and that's important to me. I have 3 things that are important to me, and I think they also are important to our community. First one is education. I think that it's important that we educate our children, we educate our parents and our citizens to know how important education is to everybody in our community. The second one is to create jobs and help the Alliance with economic development. I've lived here all my life. I came back here to work at Monsanto. I lost my job. I understand what that does to our community. And it's real important for us to help the Alliance to be able to recruit businesses to come here. First, we have to have an educated workforce to help them do that. And lastly, it's public safety and public health. We do a great job with our law enforcement people protecting our community. We also do a great job to understand how important health is to our community. Not only do those businesses want educated workforce, but they want a healthy workforce. I can be the leader of Maury County that builds trust and relationships to make all those things happen. Thank you.
Charlie Norman is next.
Well, when you put a priority list, you talk to people and ask them what's important to them, and you go around as you're campaigning, and they always ask you the same question: what are you going to do when you get in office first? And sometimes you give them a different answer because you've talked to people and they've changed your priorities. But I think the number 1 priority that I have is building relationships. You've got to build relationships to get anything done in the county. With the commissioners, with the school board, with the school director, with the sheriff, with the road superintendent. To get anything done in our county, you have to have a good relationship. And it's not relationships that you just try to tell people what they can and can't do. It's just working on those relationships to where they'll want to help you make Maury County better. And then as I talk to people also about relationships, the number 1 thing I think is on people's mind is education. It's probably 80% of the county brings up education. Central High School works its way into that. But everybody wants reform of education. And we've got to work with the school board. As the mayor, it's my responsibility to have an influence on the school board, but I've got to get to know them and know what their priorities are and what their focus is as far as education for the Maury County students. I've been involved in education for years. I've got 4 sons. One's a teacher at Central High School. Very proud of him. He knows about the teacher's capabilities, and we've got some great teachers in Maury County. So we've got to form these relationships together and work for a common goal to make the schools number 1 as our priority as we move forward. And then also we've got to work on things that need to be built. We need to improve some of our schools. We need to improve some of our buildings. We need to also think about what needs to be built in the future. What has been brought up here lately is a fire protection. I was involved in public safety for many, many years. I retired from the Columbia Fire Department. What was going to make our county safe? We need to focus on those things, whether it's to build fire stations or whether it's to put more deputies on the road. We've got to focus on those things and build those relationships from within. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Mike Dimwitty.
Thank you. And thank everybody for being here this evening. It's good to see such a good crowd here. I'm going to keep my comments as short as possible because it's a long night. I've got experience in the executive branch of government up in Spring Hill, and Maury County, quite frankly, is an exciting place to be right now. I see a lot of potential for this county. Spring Hill's story is a tremendous story if you followed it for the last 4 or 5 years, and a lot has happened up there. I think we can bring a lot of that down to the south. The number one priority for me is going to be increasing the quality of life for all of the residents of Maury County through economic development and education. I spent a lot of time traveling around the country and around the world, meeting with executives of corporations, talking to them about Maury County. I had a conversation just 2 weeks ago with one who owns a computer company. So I'm still involved in doing those things, and I would like to continue doing those things for the residents of this county. So I think economic development just to create a better financial situation overall for the government, and that would increase the quality of life for all of our residents. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Larry Brown.
It would be my goal as county mayor, first and foremost, to serve with honesty, integrity, and common sense. Also, to be a leader that could help bring our county together. At the present time, it seems that our governing bodies are pulling apart rather than pulling together for the betterment of the whole. As been stated, obviously I want to see our education opportunities improve, and I want to improve our quality of life. I want safer communities. I want to see industries locate here, not just manufacturing, but technical, retail, all that. But until we demonstrate to those outside of Maury County that we as leaders are willing to work together and check our egos at the door and make decisions based on what's better for the whole, not just our one little group or our chosen few, then we will never realize the dream of improving all these things. So my one goal is to work together to hold my feet and everyone else's feet to the fire, because we're all running on togetherness as teamwork. And if we're doing that, we need to be upfront and do that when elected. So therefore, my number one priority is to bring us all together to work together for the common good of the people of Maury County.
Our next candidate is Gary Carball.
You know, I've been in Maury County for 25 years, and I see an awful change in our infrastructure. I was one of the people who were brought here to call on Occidental, Hooker, Stauffer, and a lot of the manufacturing jobs that were here for the phosphate business. And I know at that time we were flying high. Williamson County was looking at us, trying to find out what we were doing right. We've done 180 degrees. We need top priority on several levels. We have to bring all the levels together. Number one level is we need jobs in Maury County. We need jobs that pay, that a family can survive on and do well with, just like jobs like many of you and I have been in our past history. We need to look at manufacturing jobs primarily because they pay higher wages and they also bring better benefits to the people in our community. But as another thing we need to do is have communications between different departments, different cities, different towns. We're going in many different directions. We got to try to pull people together, and the only way we can do that is communicate. We need to have town meetings, but we also need to have meetings within our departments from city to city and from town to town. Bring people together, sit them at the same table, and discuss not our differences, but how much we really are all in the same boat, working together to make Maury County back into its glorious days.
Our next candidate is Chip Matlock.
Good evening. As we're hearing throughout all the candidates' comments, we do know education, jobs, safety, livability are the most important things that we have going, that we need to address in this county. As mayor, though, the number one priority, once again, we've got to pull everybody together. We've got to work as a team to get things accomplished before you can bring in jobs, before we can better education, before we can take on new responsibilities. We have to build trust and work together to bring these things to us. So my number one priority is building teamwork, working together, work with City of Columbia, Spring Hill, Mount Pleasant, Culleoka, Santa Fe, everybody has needs, everybody's needing to pull together. And once we do that, we can go forward. We can have the best school system in the state. We can have jobs coming in. But we've got to work together, we've got to trust one another, and we've got to cooperate. And that's everybody together.
Thank you. Now, question number 2, we're going to start with Charlie. Charlie, as mayor, what can the mayor's office do to support our agricultural community while encouraging growth and other development?
Well, our agricultural community is very important in Maury County. I was raised around a farm, milked cows, cut tobacco, hauled hay. There's not a lot that seems to be done for the farmers a lot of times. There was a thing that went through the commission here just a little while ago about picking up dead animals. We got a lot of negative about it. You know, there's very little that the farmers get from the taxes that they pay on their land and their facilities. So we as a commission need to keep them as a focus. Again, probably half our land use is agricultural, and there's districts in our county that are just about all agricultural. So we need to look after farmers and take care of them. Most of us here probably in this audience come from farms. We've got a generation growing up that doesn't know a lot about farms. We need to keep that as a focus and take care of our farming community.
Mr. Dinwiddie.
Thank you. You know, this is a rural county still. There's a lot of farmland in it still. Spring Hill still has a lot of farmland in it as well. I'm from New Orleans originally, and I moved to Nashville. That was too crowded. I moved to Franklin. That was too crowded. I moved to Spring Hill. Now that's too crowded. I'd love to move south and get away from it. I love the wide open space that we have down here. I think it's important that as we move forward on a county level, we talk a lot about economic development and talk a lot about bringing in industries and jobs and corporations, and we get focused on building and building and building, and a lot of the natural beauty that's inherent in the county kind of gets thrown by the wayside. We need to focus on not losing that character. One of the things that we strove to do for the past few years up north was to put together a master plan for the development of Spring Hill. Maury County probably needs something along those lines so that as we move forward, recruiting businesses, building roads, and developing the infrastructure for a sustained economy, we can do so in a responsible manner to protect the rural character of our community.
Mr. Brown?
I believe the first thing that would be a priority would be to sit down with those folks involved in agriculture and ask them what are their needs and what can we do to help them. I do know that Maury County does an excellent job of promoting agriculture as one of our vital sources, not just for income, but for preservation of our land. As a county, it's important, and this has been talked about in regards to landfills and other things, but it's important to protect our water sources for our farmers. It's important that they have good water sources and available water sources and ways to protect our farmland. Oftentimes, development takes such a precedent that we gobble up our farmland, and those people are sort of left out looking for ways to supplement what becomes a limited income. So we need programs to help our farmers, but most of all, we need to promote them and sit down with them and ask them what is it that we can do to help you. And because if we help the farmers, then obviously we're helping ourselves and helping Maury County, because those who are involved in the agriculture business in Maury County are the backbone of what we are and who we are today, and always will be a big part of that.
Mr. Carball?
You know, a lot of our young people think that agriculture is when you use your credit card over at Kroger's. They don't understand where it comes from, and they don't understand that 90% of our agriculture in the United States is falling down, falling apart. Large corporations today are the people that are manufacturing our produce and everything. We need to support our farmers, our agriculture people, just as small business. It's very important that our chamber and our Maury Alliance comes together with the county mayor, sit down with people, find out exactly what their needs are, and then move the county in the direction to give them 100% support. Thank you.
Mr. Matlock.
This county has always been a very strong agricultural background. We need to continue that and work with the farmers, know exactly what their needs are. We're fortunate that we have the Farm Bureau headquarters here. We have Julius Johnson as the Agricultural Commission. Ed Harlan is in that office as a division head. So we've got great opportunities to be working with leadership and through the Farm Bureau, the Alliance, so forth, to understand what the farmers need, preserving our land, preserving the water, working with them to create a good job market for the agriculture. I know firsthand what it's like. I raised tobacco, I raised cattle, so I understand, and I was a city boy. I married into a farm. I understand exactly how important agriculture is to the county. So we must keep these relationships, work hand in hand with them to keep this growing and active community.
Ms. Willis.
Well, since I've lived on a farm all my life, I can relate to this. I think we need to preserve our farmland. Do you realize that 10 years from now, we're going to be feeding millions of more people, and we have to produce those crops on the same farmland we have right now? We're seeing farmland leave this county. And I also think that we understand that Maury County is the number 2 in cattle production in the state. We have people coming from 8 different states to sell their cattle here at our facility out on the industrial park at the livestock producers. That's a great revenue source for us. We need to be sure that we keep that. And I understand that economic development is important to our community. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go and spend farmland and build new buildings everywhere. We need to think about, I know there are farmers who have put their property in land trusts to protect that. We had some friends up the road that have just sold their 500-something acres, and my first question is, oh my, is somebody buy that to develop it? No, we're gonna farm it, thank goodness, I'm glad for that. I just think it's important for us to work with the farmers and be sure that economic development doesn't take over what's important to our community as far as selling cattle and selling sheep here or goats here, and also being able to produce crops to feed our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that's our 2 general questions. So now we're going to drill down, because we have some common themes here with our candidates. We're going to drill down a little bit and to see what specifically y'all are thinking. So we're going to start with Mr. Dimwitty. What do you see as the mayor's role in Maury County's education?
I can give the political answer or I can give the real answer. The real answer is there is no role, if you want to be honest about it. The school board controls the education in Maury County. A lot of people ask, what is the mayor going to do? The mayor doesn't even vote on it, to be quite honest with you folks. I don't even get a vote on the budget. We don't set curriculums. We don't determine class sizes. We don't determine school locations. We don't determine whether it gets remodeled or rebuilt. So as the county mayor, from an official position as mayor, there's really not much that the mayor can do for education. On a personal level, though, I can get involved personally because I am a resident of this county and I am father of 2 public school children, and I can easily get involved as a citizen just like any other taxpayer could do. In Spring Hill, we had a SMART program, which was a voluntary program for the kids of the city. All the kids were invited to take part in a voluntary program. The winners got iPads and iPods. They got to sit in the mayor's seat. They got to be the mayor for their own meeting. It was an exciting event, and they loved it. So we can get involved as a community in voluntarily taking part in our children's lives and in their education. I'm personally willing to donate part of my mayor's salary towards schools, towards classrooms, whether it's buying technology, whether it's buying books, equipment, sports equipment, musical equipment, whatever that may be. Part of my salary will be going towards that endeavor. So there's kind of two different answers. One, as an official, there's not much the mayor can do. That's more of the school board, which is an elected body. It's not even appointed by the mayor. And then on a personal level, I plan to be very involved in what happens as the reputation of our education program across the county develops. Thank you.
Mr. Brown.
The mayor's involvement in the school system, while the Board of Education does make decisions and county commission provides them with the funds to finance the school system, as a county mayor, it goes back to working together, as was talked about earlier. My goal would be able to forge a relationship with the school board, the director of schools, and his staff that would allow me an opportunity to have input into the decisions being made. Given the fact that the school board would have the final say, but obviously as a 24-year veteran of education and a 18-year administrator, I do have a little bit of an expertise in that particular area, so I would be able to use that. Not just 18 years as an administrator, but 18 years as an administrator at successful schools in Maury County. It goes back to working together. I would hope that we could build that relationship to where they would feel comfortable allowing me and other members of the community, parents and business leaders and all to play a role in the decision-making process and provide our input so that the decisions that are made after having a lot of input from different areas of the community, different people from different walks, because it's a wide spectrum of individuals that make up our school system, our school populations. Our demographics are very widespread. So I would use my expertise as an advisor and do what I was allowed to do by the Board of Education as far as advising them on education. Thank you.
Mr. Caraval.
I think the county mayor has a lot to do with our education system. The county mayor must be a person who listens to the voice of the people, listen to the parents, find out the direction where our children are going. One of the directions that we're going in Tennessee is Common Core. I am 100% against Common Core. The county mayor needs to bring the school board members and the community, the commissioners, the people living in Maury County all together on one page. We need an education system in Maury County that is superior to any other education system in the state of Tennessee. And the only way we're going to do that is as we press forward and get the best education. Have a county mayor who's going to stand up for education, stand up for the people who want to have their voice. Right now, all of our meetings that I'm planning to have in our town meetings, I assure you, education is going to come up in there. And my proposal at that point is to take that education and those questions they have to the school board directly and also to our commissioners. Tell them exactly what the people of Maury County want. Tell them exactly what the parents of Maury County want, and then press forward and be the voice for Maury County parents. Thank you.
Mr. Matlock.
I agree. The county mayor can set the standards and push for the best educational system in the state. You have to be involved, working directly with the schools, working with the school board, director of schools, the county commission to make this happen. You can be the conduit that keeps the communication open between school board, county commission, because that's the most important relationship that you can build. Due to the commission funds education, the school board sets what the priorities are. And I think if you show as county mayor that is your vested interest, that's what you want, what's best for these children. And you've had to be into the schools. You've had to walk the halls of the schools and see what's going on with these children. And I've been doing that for the last 21 years. We were involved parents with all 4 of our children. All 4 of our children graduated from Central High School. All 4 of them are college graduates. 2 of them have master's degree. Parental involvement has dropped drastically in the schools. And as the county mayor, I can try to go out and make things happen with people to get them excited about the schools, to let them know what's going on. Accent some positives on the schools. We continually hear negatives, But there's positives out there. We just have to accent it, we have to work with them, and we have to be involved. Thank you.
Ms. Willis.
My job as Maury County Mayor is to be the leader that understands what's important in education. I want to be that person that helps work with the commission and with the school board so that they form an alliance and work together to improve our education system. We already have a great education system in Maury County. I'm a product of that school system. It's been great for me and it's been great for my children. I also think that we need to work with the alliance. I need to do that. There's already a program. They do an existing industry survey. What are your needs? There are business needs in our county. They need educated workforce. How can we work with them to provide those education opportunities to help their workforce to be better? That's something that the Alliance is already working on. Actually, we're doing that in Northfield. In my construction business, I've had a hard time finding certified pipe welders. Northfield has had classes and produced those people, but it helps me as a business leader. I also think that Maury Alliance has also formed a new education task force. They want to see what's important to the citizens and to businesses coming in here. I think that we need to be sure that we need a new high school. We need to maintain our schools. It's part of something that helps our education system here in our county. So my job is just to be that person that finds out what are the important issues to not only the citizens, but the leaders in the community and the parents about what direction our education system is going in. Thank you.
Mr. Norman.
I think the role of county mayor should be one of influence. And you can't be one of influence without forming relationships with the school board and with the school director and with the teachers and with the principals. That means visiting schools and talking to teachers and talking to principals and showing a concern for the education of Maury County. Another thing is to get involved. You don't get involved just by sitting up at the courthouse and not going to commission meetings. You have to go to those meetings at the school board. I've attended some of those meetings and been the only one there. Again, the school board has got to reciprocate, and they've also got to attend our meetings and get involved. Also, you got to try to get the parents involved in the school system. I think my son talks constantly about there's just not a parental involvement anymore. And a lot of parents are not there for their kids. I think Central has about 40% of the students have just one parent, and 33% of them do not have a job. And so we got to also communicate with the school director. Ask questions. You know, sometimes people, want to know what's going on in the school system, and nobody ever asks any questions. What about that budget they bring? You know, people can't even explain what kind of budget the school has put together. And they vote on those millions and millions of dollars, and nobody asks questions about what's contained in the budget. They just continually give them that money. And also, by law, once you give the school system a certain amount of money, it can't go backwards. It can only go forward. So if you don't ask questions and get involved and find out, you're not going to know what's contained in that budget and whether it's smart the way we're spending our money. And also, again, a presence is just so important. You show the schools, and you show the school board, you show parents, and you show all the citizens of Maury County that you're concerned about education. Continually ask questions, bring it up, and ask them what's important to them over and over again. Thank you.
Our next question is going to be, we're going to start with Mr. Larry Brown. Larry, there's been a lot of talk about economic development around in this area, but for Maury County to be competitive and encourage economic growth, what specific needs have you identified, and how will you impact or influence the solutions to those needs? And if that got too long for anybody, I'll repeat the question when it comes around to you, okay?
I think first and foremost, when you talk to those people involved in industry in Maury County, and you ask them, what is it that stands in our way as to grow and to progress for economic development? One of the major things that always comes up in my conversations is access. If you look at Maury County, Saturn Parkway is the only 4-lane highway bringing access into Maury County. And that's been one thing that's been a real plus to the Spring Hill area. Among many things, they've done a good job with selling that and using that to their advantage. But, you know, we also have an opportunity to widen Bear Creek Pike. It's designed to be a 4-lane highway. If you look at the way the power poles are set up and the way the drive is cut to the interstate exit, at the present time, plans are underway to rework the Bear Creek Pike exit. So hopefully we can get that underway, and that access coming in that way with 166 widening the 4 lanes coming from Hornwall to Mount Pleasant, then you'll have a 4-lane highway from I-65 to the Alabama state line. Also, the biggest hindrance to industry to me would be, again, as I said to start the evening, we have to demonstrate to those people who are industry leaders and the people who've got businesses that looking for a place to go into business that we as a county are willing to work together to bring them here and to help them be successful here. We have to go out and actively recruit those people to come to our area. So we have to show them that we want them here and show them what a wonderful place Maury County is to do business. We have everything they could ever need, but we've got to do a good job of selling our county and selling our workforce and improving our workforce. Thank you.
Mr. Carabaugh.
One of the things, my background has been 40 years in manufacturing. I've worked with companies like Caterpillar Tractor, Danaher Corporation. Both of those are Fortune 500 companies. And they give a lot of schooling, a lot of training to their employees how to benefit their companies. But we can bring some of those benefits to Maury County. One of the things in my plans to do is jobs, manufacturing jobs, like I stated earlier, because of the high salaries and everything. We have 3 exits on the interstate that we're not utilizing. Do you know how many counties would love to have 3 exits off the interstate? Do we have to build another one? No, I don't think so. I think we need to bring businesses to those exits right now. And how we're going to do that is this way. There's a software program that is available. And when I was a Craftsman tool rep, I knew more about that company before I went in there to sign $1 million contract than what the company did. I want to use that information of CEOs. I want to talk directly to them to see if they want to bring or expand or relocate their business to Maury County. We need somebody to be proactive, go after business, bring them here. We have states or firearm companies that are anti-gun states. Texas and Tennessee are gun-friendly states. Why isn't somebody right now going after those and say, come on down to Tennessee? We want to give you land, and the county owns land. We've been bush hogging land for 30 years. It's about time we trade some of the land for jobs. And then when we get these jobs and these companies come in here, I'm going to ask the commissioners to make sure that they give them a tax break for every Maury County resident they hire. Thank you.
Mr. Matlock.
This is very important to all of Maury Countyans. Going out, actively recruiting jobs, bringing in manufacturers to increase the tax base is a must. We have set up out Bear Creek Pike Corridor all the infrastructure in place to do a very good area to bring businesses in. This was done 12, 15 years ago. It's been ready for an industrial park to be out there. We've already had some businesses locating out there. But we must get out and find companies that want to relocate here. There are companies up as close as Williamson County who can expand. They can't grow because of all the growth around them. They would be actively interested in coming to Maury County if we could make contacts and work with them. Once again, it's very important that we work hand in hand with Maury Alliance out of the mayor's office. The mayor be available to go talk to any representatives of any companies that's interested in coming here. We just have to really get after and recruit these businesses.
Ms. Willis?
Economic development literally means jobs to our community. So the first thing we need is an educated workforce. They won't come here if we can't provide those workers for them. The second thing I think I see that we need is access to I-65. The Maury County government has just recently this year voted to be part of the Metropolitan Planning Organization. We need to be part of that regional organization so that we can attend every one of those meetings and express the needs we have here in Maury County as to widening 412 or to have a new interchange on Kedron Road. I'm a graduate of that Metropolitan Planning Organization Transit Academy. I've been up there and I've studied the transportation issues, and what is important to our county is that the businesses that come here have easy and quick access to our interstate system. I think one other need that we need a business park along I-65. I'm also a graduate of Leadership Middle Tennessee and part of the Power of 10. I have visited the 10 surrounding counties and their governments and what they're doing in their communities with economic development. I promise you, every one of those people have a business park. They have a spec building. They have something to offer to those businesses that come here. We don't have that in Maury County. We have to have something to offer those people. And I think that obviously one of the things that is an obstacle to this is money. So we need to find a way to create enough revenues for us to be able to do all these projects to see our community grow. We must invest in our community or our community is going to go somewhere else. Thank you.
Mr. Norman?
I think the first thing you have to do as the mayor and help the needs of economic growth is to be positive about our community. Over the last couple of months, while the campaign's been going on, you open the newspaper and there's something negative about Maury County. Whether it's the commission or whether it's the city or whether it's education or whatever it might be. You know, if we're going to sell Maury County, we've got to be positive. We've got to support the Industrial Development Board and the Maury Alliance. You know, the ideas they come up with, you know, we're paying them money and they're professionals and do a great job of recruiting industries. And we've got to support them in any way possible. But it starts with being positive and supportive with the Industrial Board. You know, if you think about Cherry Glen, there's a 500-acre park out there and a 4-lane highway that runs just pretty much all the way through Maury County until you get to Bear Creek Pike. So that needs to be developed. But you look at, if you could pass by Cherry Glen today and you see the sign that says Cherry Glen, there's not a phone number on that billboard out there. First thing I'd do as a mayor is put my phone number on there. I want them to know who to call and try to find out about how they can get hold of that facility or build something in that facility. You know, call the county mayor, and I'll put my name and number on that board. Also, you know, we offer a lot of times tax incentives, but you know, what about coming up with something, hey, I'll give you land for jobs, and advertise that, and push that, and make it available in the state, and maybe even nationally, that you bring jobs here to Maury County, and we'll give you the land. Let's come up with an inventive way to bring jobs here for Maury County, to where we can grow as a community, where our kids and grandkids will grow up here, and where we'll be proud of our community. Thank you.
Mr. Dinwiddie?
Thank you. This subject touches close to home with me. When I took office, GM announced that they were going to shut down. When I left office, they had hired thousands of people. Not only GM, but we brought a call center in, and we've done quite well economically. It's hard to define economic development in 2 minutes, much less give a complete answer. I served on the executive board of Maury Alliance, and we discussed having an industrial park built around Bear Creek Pike. I support that. I think it's needed. I think we have to have more development around the interstate. It's very important. I think Maury County needs to go after and recruit white-collar jobs. We need technology jobs. We've got to have this. We've got to develop our high-tech industry. If we don't, we're going to be left behind. And those jobs bring dollars. So we have to do whatever we can possibly do to go after the higher-end job market. When I was a member of the Maury Alliance, I traveled to Tokyo. I did my fair share of traveling around the world. I traveled to Tokyo. I talked to business executives who own billion-dollar corporations about coming to Maury County. I traveled to Detroit. I met with the the presidents of General Motors. I traveled to Washington, D.C. to lobby Congress about the auto industry. So I've gotten out there on behalf of Maury County already. I'm speaking from experience when I speak from this. And the amount of jobs that we've brought into this county have been more in the past 5 years than in the past 25 years. We've done a good job, but we can do better. It'll be my job to continue that trend and continue to go talk to corporations about Maury County.
Thank you. Our next question will be from Mr. Carball. Or starting with Mr. Carball. No. Do you have any specific plans or ideas to help guide the county governments in order to improve them and improve the stewardship of taxpayer dollars? Do you have any specific ideas on how to improve the county government and better stewardship of taxpayer dollars?
I think one of the things that we need to start doing is for the people who spend the money, put a seal on their expenditures. We spend more money than what we take in. We need to stop that. We need to have a budget, need to have it passed, and we need to stick with the budget. Maury County has been known to go over their budget, sell it, or buy things that don't make sense. To me, some of the things would be like the Muletown trolley. You know, every time I see that, I'm sitting there and amazed at how somebody could spend taxpayers' money on things like this. And there's some other avenues as well, I think is spent foolishly. But I think what we need to do is we need to have an open dialogue with the public. When we start to spend money, we need to put it in the newspaper of what we're spending on the budgets on, break it down. It doesn't really have to be department by department, but it needs to be segment by segment. Tell the people where we're spending the money. And this is where the voice of the people comes in town meetings. You tell me what you want to spend your money on. I'm the one that will take it to the county commissioners and to the school board and be your voice to spend your money. This is your money. You have a right to say exactly where you want your money to go and how you want to grow your community. I want to be that spokesperson for you. Thank you.
Mr. Matlock.
The role of county mayor, you will have to be proactive in the budget process. Help get it through. Work out the amount of money. You know what you're going to have coming in. Make sure you understand and you work with the commission on setting the budget, getting it done in a timely manner, and then watching how you spend. This interacts when you're having your department head meetings and you're working with the department heads. We found with the City of Columbia that when we encourage department heads to watch their spending, to spend where they need it, how they need it, but if they had funds left over at the end of the year, not try to spend out their budget before June 30th, but if they were going to have some money left over, that we would return that back to the department. And we found out at that point, department heads were much more willing to watch how they spent money, were more prudent in how they spent money. But we're all going to have to work together, and this includes the school system, who spends a lot of money, and the commission, on working the budget, keeping a close hand on the budget, and working together and letting the public know where the money's going, be completely open, and have the public trust that the money is being spent in a prudent manner. Thank you.
Ms. Willis.
I currently serve on the county commission, and I have served on the budget committee for 4 years there. We spend a lot of time talking about your taxpayer dollars and where we think they should go. I think that it's our job, not only as the mayor, but to be involved. The mayor meets with every one of those 14 department heads. He goes over their budget. And I promise you, those people that work for your county, that have been here and managing those departments, they think long and hard. They're not just going out and spending your money. They have reasons that they need money to spend, whether that just be for improvements in their facility, and a lot of times it's maintenance items that have to be spent. And I also think, do you know where your tax dollars are going? Do you look at the budget? I think that we have asked each one of our county departments to make budget cuts, and very rarely, I know this year, when they come to us and they say, we want this, well, do you need that? Do you need that? That's what we ask them. There's a lot of difference. We need to work hard to try to increase our revenues so that we can spend tax dollars where they need to be. It's our place as the mayor to be sure that each one of those, and I would plan to sit down with each one of those department heads, look at their budget, look at their operation. What are they doing? Where can improvements be made? I'm sure there's always room for improvements, and especially when new blood comes into the system. We always have great ideas, and I would hope that they would listen. Thank you.
Mr. Norman.
First thing I'd like to say is that I've been attending the commission meetings almost 2 years now, and I just got to say the commissioners do a great job with the county's money. I think they got passion about the job. Now, they got a lot of different ideas about how to spend it, maybe. And so some of the ways we can improve that is to have a plan. Have a plan what we're going to do with our money. But when people talk about budget items, if you look at the county's budget, you realize that almost 90% of the budget is salaries and benefits. So there's only about 10% of the money they're really fighting over. Or not necessarily fighting over, but they're discussing and arguing maybe over it. But, so you got to look at that. Some people are really not aware of that, of how much money goes into salary and benefits for the county employees and how the county government is run. Also, we've got to have communication. We've got to talk to each other. If I've got an idea, don't take it personal. If you don't like my idea, respect me for not liking it. But let's just have open communication. If you don't have different ideas, how are you going to go forward? We've got to be able to talk to each other and respect each other. And that's what I found sometimes the problem in the commission here lately in the 2 years that I've been attending is that they've got some problems communicating. There's a disconnect between some of the commissioners. And I think some of it's personal. And it does get personal in those meetings, and it gets personal on Facebook, and it gets personal on emails. We've got to be careful of that and work together for the best of Maury County. Also, we've got to be transparent. Let's be up front. Let's be up front with the citizens. Let's let them have a say-so on what they would like to do. Let's give them some time to talk about some things in the budget that they're concerned with. But let's be transparent as a government and let them have a say-so in how our county is run. And also, again, we've got to have goals. We've got to set goals for the county. And if we put the plan together, we try to meet those goals. But we also got to have that money. Where's it going to take us? How much money we have to borrow? Nobody wants to raise taxes. But again, sometimes taxes have to be raised, but we've got to have goals and a plan what we're going to do with that money. Thank you.
Mr. Dinwiddie.
Thank you. You asked for specific ideas about how the county governments can save money. I'll give a few that just I can think of right off the top of my head. One of the best things that happened to Spring Hill was hiring Victor Lay. One of the first things Victor Lay did was when he got to Spring Hill was had a town hall meeting, and we discussed whether or not we would raise water rates by a lot. People showed up, and he explained it magnificently. And by and large, the people accepted it. We needed this. So I think that being transparent, telling people exactly what their money is being used for, being open, having town hall meetings, that's one thing that we can probably do a better job of on a county level. I would be interested in hiring a consulting firm to come in and do a top-to-bottom analyzation of the county to determine exactly where the money is going and where the money could be going, if there are any savings that could be made. Are there any duplication of services? Can we consolidate services? Can we privatize services? There's a lot of cities and a lot of governments out there that are privatizing a lot of what they offer, and they're saving money in doing that. So a lot of these things are what I'm going to be interested in as far as how we handle the taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
Mr. Brown.
I think first and foremost, one needs to understand anyone who's an elected official that just by simply winning an election does not make one a financial expert. So therefore, there would be a need to educate. I think that not just commissioners, school board members, any member of any board or department needs to have regular training on fiscal responsibility, the laws pertaining to the finances of that not only that department, but the county and how it should be spent. The Board of Education is the high dollar item in our budget year in and year out. And there's a real need for the commission and the board members to sit down and for everyone of those two elected bodies to understand exactly where those dollars are going, how much of that is local money, state money, federal money, grant money, what pocket it's coming out of. But every department has a budget. Everyone has a budget. In my home, if you have a budget for something, then you stick to it, because if you go over it, you may not have enough money left to make it right. So we have to be real frugal in what we do. I would also favor the idea of monthly meetings with citizens to allow them the opportunity to know where the money is being spent and to review, answer their questions if possible in regards to the handling of the taxpayer dollars. They're the taxpayers' money that's funding what we're doing, so we owe them answers and we owe them the opportunity to know what's happening with it. But I think first and foremost, we have to educate our leaders and our citizens about what the fiscal responsibilities are and how those monies are spent. Thank you.
Now, this next question, we'll start with Mr. Matlock. As we all know, Jim Bailey did not seek the chairman of the commission. But you could run, if you wanted to be the chairman of the commission. How are your feelings, and what are you planning on doing as far as the chairman of the commission in influencing legislation?
There is the opportunity for the county mayor to be the chairman of the commission. What you have to look at, is that going to make it confrontational, or are you going to be able to keep pulling people together to work together? So I've really been studying what my options would be when this came up, and what really is my role going to be. How am I going to influence? How am I going to be able to work together, pull people together? Now, will it be holding the chairmanship, conducting the meetings, and working through that, having a vote? Or could I do like the previous two mayors, and I think the rest of our mayors? Can I try to influence and be a part without being confrontational and being part of everything that's going on with the commission when they get into the arguments and so forth? So will I be putting myself into that place or not? I feel like my best choice would be not to take the chairmanship, to work in the continuing role as Mayor Bailey did of influencing and working with the commission and trying to pull them together, instead of putting myself in a position that could become confrontational.
Ms. Willis.
Tennessee Code states that the mayor is a non-voting member of the commission and its committees. If you give up that right and you become chairman of the commission, then you also give up your veto right. That does give you the opportunity to vote in case of the tie. Of the 4 years that I've served on a commission, we really have never even been close to having a tie vote, so that really has never come into play. I think the job of the mayor is to be a representative of the county. His job is to be that person that communicates with everything else that's going on to communicate with the different departments, to communicate with other government entities, to communicate with the Alliance, and let him come back and tell the commission, influence the commission if he needs to, about what decisions are best for Maury County. So my stance is, I don't intend to be the chairman. I intend to be that person that's the leader of the county, to be one that influences, that represents our county, and tries to convince and communicate with the commission what I think's best for our county. Thank you.
Mr. Norman.
Funny thing, I was asked the same question today. Somebody sent me an email. What are you going to do if you get elected mayor? Will you be the chairman? And like Kim said, the mayor has veto power now. I don't know what it's worth, because in 20 days they can meet together and overturn that veto. And he only votes in case of a tie. But I guess my thought process as I answered the email, I told the lady that I would want to see what the new commissioners would want. You know, would they want me to be the chairman, being a new mayor, and there's going to be probably half the commission is going to be new? I look at it in attending the commission meetings, it does get confrontational, like Mr. Madlock said. Sometimes it's with the audience, and sometimes it's with other commissioners. So again, what kind of relationship do you want? So I would talk with the commissioners, have conversations with the commissioners before we're sworn in, see what their feelings are about it. And there might be a commission member that is reelected or that is unopposed that might want that job. The first year is going to be a difficult year for the new mayor and for the new commission we're going to have. So again, I would want to communicate and see what the role that they would want me to have. I would not turn down the chairmanship if that was the majority or the people want me to do it. It would be a big responsibility. And again, you'd have to weigh whether you're going to lose influence with some of the commissioners when you got to tell them they just got to be quiet. Thank you.
Mr. Dinwiddie.
I don't want to be the chairman. I've been
Why?
there and I've done
Why?
that. And I've been the chairman with a vote, and it's not fun. I would rather be the neutral party that can try and bridge both sides and find a comparable solution. It's difficult. It's difficult being somebody that has a vision that wants to go in a certain direction, but yet has a vote at the same time. Somebody who might have background information on what you're voting on, and as that information changes, it's a very difficult position to be in. It's not a position I would want to be in at the county. I would rather be somebody that's outside the fray, so to speak, and just try to facilitate the discussion rather than have a voting hand in it. Thanks.
Mr. Brown.
I believe the county mayor should be an impartial and unbiased participant in the process of moving the county forward. I think he should advise, research, and most importantly, be a voice for the people. I think if you serve as the chairman of the commission, you jeopardize the ability to do that because, as has been said earlier, there's certain times there's controversial topics that come up, and if, as chairman, you may have to cast a vote that may in turn reduce your power of influence with some of the commissioners or members of the affected departments. So therefore, it would be my thought that you cannot be chairman and be totally effective as mayor because of the possibility that you might reduce your power of influence. So no, I would not want to serve as chairman of the commission. Thank you.
Mr. Carval.
I think right up front I would say no, because the county mayor has to be a communicator. He has to be the person that's going to bring all sides together. What you see today, if you go to a county commissioners, you see the left side and the right side. There's no in between. It's one of the reasons why we haven't gotten anything done in Maury County. It's why we can't come together into agreement. The county mayor must be the person to take individuals, because every individual on that commission has a personality, and you have to study that personality. And it's just like going fishing. You got to have the bait. You got to have the correct bait. Big difference. You got to be able to communicate with each individually. They're going to be at different levels. They're going to have different ideas, different approaches, how to get to the end. The county mayor must be the person who takes each individual and gets those 22 votes for the betterment of Maury County. The betterment is what we need to get at. not personalities. So I would say it would be better to be in a neutral position and work with each and every one on an individual basis. Thank you.
I want to thank y'all all for answering these questions that we had for you.